KJV. Unlike many KJV onliers, because I'm not exactly a KJV onlyer, I encourage studying the original Greek and Hebrew texts, the Masoretic for the Hebrew, and the Textus Receptus for the Greek. The Strongs Concordance is helpful, but does have its flaws. Sometimes what it says a word means is influenced by tradition, and occasionally it slips, distinguishing between similar words or different forms of words. And I have some links here to different sites that can help, that sort of put the Strongs online basically, and talk a little bit about the Hebrew language and how it's a pictographic language. It's certainly like all... Okay, I mistyped the original. Alright, never mind. I was going to skip that part. Even people that are more radically KJV only than me need to learn to acknowledge at least two things. Number one, some words have changed meaning since 1611, and they're not always at first glance obvious, like I show in my study on the word fornication. And many English words have more than one meaning. Context often makes what meaning clear, but not always. And sometimes the original Greek or Hebrew word doesn't share all the meanings the KJV word has. So in such context, it helps to go back to the Greek and Hebrew to help clarify which equally valid reading of the English is correct. One such example is the English word man. We use that word with at least two meanings. Man as in the male gender, and man as in the human race, or Homo sapien. Biblical Hebrew had no word with both those meanings. It had two for human, Adam after the first human, and Enosh, which literally means mortal, and was the son of Adam's grandson, and Noah's ancestor, born at the end of Genesis 4. And two for the male gender, Ish, which means man but also husband, and Zakar. Zakar is sometimes translated man, or rather misleadingly mankind, but it's usually treated as a Hebrew counterpart for male, or perhaps masculine. Like in Genesis 1, male and female created he them. But male in English has come to be treated as the most technical term for the gender. The Hebrew Zakar did carry a ceremonial and spiritual significance to it, demonstrated particularly by its usage in Leviticus. I feel like a more fitting stand-in for Zakar would be a noun form of masculine, same as its female counterpart used in Genesis 1 and 7. Greek is ultimately the same, but maybe a bit more ambiguous because its word for human, anthropos, does share an etymological connection to some words for the masculine gender, like andros, which isn't actually used in the Bible, in the Greek Bible, but a name derived from it, like Andrew is. And aner, which means husband. But the main New Testament word used for the masculine gender is arsine, which has some variant spellings. The New Testament used anthropos every time Jesus is called Son of Man. In the Old Testament, that term was always Adam or Enosh. Many places, like no one, okay, in many places, no one is confused that the KJV usage of man is not meant to exclude women, like in Jesus' version of the Golden Rule, but sometimes they are, like Revelation 14, where the 144,000 are called men. The word used there is anthropos, yet I've seen commentators insist that there are no women in the group, even though the 144,000 are connected via the sixth seal to Joel 2:28 through 32, which says, "Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy."